Donald Trump. All right, Bill. People are getting seriously worried about Trump. I see very liberal friends of mine making posts yearning people to not mention his name because it'll just perpetuate what they believe would be the downfall of the country. I get that he's a bit out there, but even if he did get elected, how bad could it be? I'm sure some of your listeners are like my paranoid friends. Should they be worried? Should they be worried that an absolute dope would be in the White House? How did you like George W. Bush? How did you like that guy? Did you enjoy when he was in the office? When you had a guy who couldn't couldn't get through a sentence without stuttering? I mean, he sounded like me. That was a bit I used to do. I used to say, I like George W. Bush. You know why? He makes me feel like I could be president too. That's literally what I felt like. I was like, I went to summer school with this guy. Like, the president shouldn't give a guy like me hope. You know what I mean? That's all that I'm saying. And I have to be honest with you. The simplistic way that this guy talks about major things, like just bombing people in the Middle East, and the way he talks about Mexicans and stuff like that, there's something about him that he's very cartoonish. So I think it's very easy to think that that he isn't like a bad thing. But that thing there where he told that guy from the Latino guy who's a citizen of the country, and when they're escorting him out, that fucking white guy who goes, "Get out of my country." What kind of an adult says that? Get out of my country? Like it's his sandbox? I mean, it's not necessarily Trump. It's the kind of people that gravitate towards that guy. And as much as I've loved his honesty, let's forget about all the racist shit the guy has said. Even if he wasn't racist, like, he doesn't have the intellect for that job. You know what I mean? I mean, you're talking about the guy he hosts a reality show. As much as he runs around talking about this empire he has, I don't buy it. It's like, if he truly had all the money he had and truly had all the success he had, would he really have time to decide if fucking Sheena Easton or Lindsay Davenport is going to make us better CEO for this company that doesn't even fucking exist? You know what I mean? The one thing I will say is I've loved his honesty and that he sticks to what the fuck he's going to say. And I hope it encourages more politicians to be honest. But at the end of the day, you have to have somebody in there that has the pedigree. I mean, come on, dude. Like, look at it, Donald Trump, dude. Okay, just imagine him. He's somebody in the NFL draft as a quarterback. All right? Can this guy make all the throws? How's his footwork? Is he patting the ball? If his number one receiver is covered, is he really going to have the calmness in his head when he's standing in the pocket and it's closing in to check down to receivers 2, 3, and 4? I don't think he is. I don't think he's presidential material. But the fact that the kinds of people that he's stirring up, like racists, people who say, "Get out of my country," he's kind of making Pat Buchanan look like John Denver. So I don't think you're. I think you're underreacting as much as your friends are overreacting. I don't think any one person has the ability to be the downfall of the country. Obviously, he doesn't have that level of power. And I actually think if he did get elected, that both Republicans and Democrats would resent him, and I don't think that they would work with him the same way if somebody from one of the third parties got elected. They just wouldn't work with them because it would be great for their own argument that if you elect a guy from this party or if you elect a guy like this, see, he can't get anything done. And they would act like a bunch of babies, Republicans and Democrats, because it's really not about doing what's right for American people. It's about winning. That's all they give a fuck about. It's the same way why I won't watch a debate on CNN or Fox or any of those shows. Even like Bill Maher's show, Real Time, which is kind of outside of that shit. So much of watching that, when you listen to people argue, they're not listening to the other person. They're thinking about their next point, and they just want to win. And I don't know. I find all of that shit like gives me a headache. You know, it's kind of like I don't know. Like my fucking wife watches those goddamn reality shows all the time. You know, come home and it's just like 10 women screaming at each other, right? And then it's bad enough she watches that show. Then she watches the show with that dude there, whatever his fucking name is, and then. It's like they do the recap of the series, and then that fucking guy, he just brings up all the bad shit that they said about each other and stirs them up all over again. And it's like, why the fuck would I want to sit here and listen to 10 women screaming at each other? For the life of me, I'll never understand why my wife watches that shit, you know? Of all the shit out there that, making women look bad, like those fucking shows where they're just walking around with their fucking horseshoes, like they're going down to the club and they're still 21 trying to get a boyfriend and they're in their 50s. It's like, when are you going to grow up? Get yourself some flats. Give your toes a break for the last 30 years of your life, you know?